When Johannes Gutenberg brought the movable type printing press into the world in the 15th century, he unknowingly issued a new era of news distribution. From the time that the first newspapers were distributed in Europe in the 17th century to George Jones and Henry Raymond's creation of the New York Daily Times, which would later become the world's largest daily publication, the New York Times, newspapers brought the news from far and wide to the doorsteps of its readers every morning. Yet here we are, 6 centuries later, and the once powerful newspaper is facing a crippling crisis. With the creation of computers and the World Wide Web late in the 20th century, the very way that we receive our news changed drastically. Now, instead of walking to the front door stoop to pick up the daily newspaper, we don't even have to get out of bed to get our news. We can simply flip on the television, fire up the computer, or even use the web on our phones to find out the pulse of our community and the world. And now, with the creation of such devices as Apple's iPad, Amazon's Kindle, or the Barnes & Noble Nook, the very concept of holding a pile of papers with the printed word seems primitive. The biggest mistake that the newspaper industry ever made was to give away their content for free online. Instead of just charging a small sum, like even a nickel or a dime, when your entire product is free online, why should anyone pay the price of subscribing a daily paper? That's foolish. Now that the very medium of print journalism as we know it is in jeopardy, the industry's executives have a lot of work to do to tweak their product and change with the times. As a print journalist myself, I can see the end coming. Within the next few decades, the ever-advancing world around us will ultimately issue out our beloved newspapers in favor of all digital news for our phones and computers. While this could mean death for one industry, it represents the birth of another. There will no longer be a need for paginators and editors in their current role with newspapers, but instead, the industry's needs will transition to solely reporters and photographers. There are things to look forward to in an all-digital era of news, however. As time presses on, the way in which we receive our news will become easier and faster. We will be able to watch more videos and see more illustrious photos than ever before. No one can script out what the future of journalism looks like, for certain, but one thing is clear. As long as there is organized society, there will always be a need for the news to be reported. I'm Gethin Coolbaugh.